Hello and welcome to Versus Live. I'm Ross Miriam.
I'm Corey Baumeister.
And we've got Dan in the booth. Say hi, Dan.
Wow. Just doesn't even give you words anymore.
No, just like, I'm just still thinking about that Heliod. Just
oh, yeah.
Going ham.
Agreed.
That one's going to get clipped.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely getting clipped. Hey, I think,
has
to
been.
be fair,
I can
I think round one with me rage quitting IRL was probably got clipped as well. So this has been a tilting Versus Live for both of us.
A lot of clips today. But
yeah.
If Dan can get himself together, he will be taking your questions, comments, concerns, and burns.
So about 50-50 on that one.
Oh,
yeah.
come on.
Really make sure you tag that Star City Games so he can see them. He needs all the help from y'all in the audience.
Exactly.
He will send his favorites over to us over the course of the show. As always, we are brought to you by Star City Games and sponsored by Carnox Chairs. If you would like a Carnox chair of your very own, be sure to use our affiliate link, carnox.com/SCG, and you will get 10% off of your purchase.
These things rock pretty fast.
Well,
they're nice.
They rock as fast as you rock.
God, I must rock.
Maybe.
Look at some F's in chat for that joke, please.
I think if they got a full body shot, people would know that you decidedly do not rock.
Hey, people don't know about my socks and sandal
You
look,
talk about
okay?
them all the time. Everybody knows.
That's because I'm proud of them, okay?
Yes. Tournament, tournament weekends, too.
That's true, that's true. But do you have any idea how nice the socks I have on right now? Rob may really care about his shoe game. I'm all about the sock game.
Sock game, okay. Interesting.
Yep. They're plain whites.
Just Hanes white socks.
Yeah. But no holes.
Okay, one hole.
All right. I'm not wearing socks, whatever.
He's definitely wearing socks. We're going to be wrapping up our Pioneer post-Theros Beyond Death shows both this week, and we're wrapping it up with one of your favorite decks in the format, as you mentioned before the break, Izzet Phoenix, trying out Ox of Agonis.
Yep.
A little scared. How many Oxes and how many Treasure Cruises you got?
3 and 4.
7 total of these cards.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, this deck plays out in such a way that the front side of Ox is actually decent. You know, I have so many matchups, not going to be as relevant here, where I just, kill something on turn 1, kill something on turn 2, strategic planning and maybe shock something again, then play like Young Pyromancer, get a little value, and then all of a sudden, then I Treasure Cruise or something. But getting rid of all my resources and then Oxing on turn 5, I think could be totally reasonable. I don't think Ox is going to be very good in this matchup, so maybe it's not the best testament of, it being a good card, but we'll see,
I think it'll get better after sideboarding when you bring in a little more disruption. But game 1 is going to be more of a race. I am playing a combo deck. This is the Lotus field. There's a lot of different versions of this deck. This one uses Underworld Breach and Chronic Flooding, which is actually a deterministic kill if you have enough mana to get it going.
Yeah.
Once you put Chronic Flooding and you have a Hidden Stirrings in the yard, if you play Underworld Breach with a Flooding on your Lotus field, every time you tap it for mana, you mill 3. You get to exile those 3 to the escape, to Hidden Stirrings, and just keep looping those. Eventually, we win with the Thassa's Oracle.
Yeah.
And, all the other stuff is pretty stock Lotus Field. We got our Pour of the Pages, our Sylvan Scryings, a little bit of Ramp, our Vizier of the Tumbling Sands. So all that stuff is normal, but just this more, clean kill, as opposed to the other ones that are just like, well, I hope based on what I draw, I can somehow cobble together like 10 mana to cast some ridiculous spell. A lot of them have Fey of Wishes, some of them double
Omniscience into stuff,
nonsense.
Regardless, I have to warn you, though, I never beat that deck. Ever.
Hey, good thing I chose it.
I literally never beat the deck. I don't think it's that good, and it seems inconsistent, but I always lose to it, so gotta love it.
I have the Thassa's Oracle in my hand, which is about the worst possible, and I have no colored mana, so...
Okay. Our hand is not super great, but we have some ways to manipulate here. We do have just a straight dead card in our hand based on the matchup. If we look at our hand, this card is completely heinous. But anything that's super bad coming from this deck, you can just discard. So I think we're still going to mulligan. It's close, but I think it's still a close mulligan.
Spent so much time trying to justify it to yourself.
Yeah. Hey, I keep it real with myself, okay? I may try to trick myself into keeping some bad hands, but,
That's actually a mantra I try to live by in tournaments, is if I'm thinking on a hand for more than 20, 30 seconds, I just mulligan immediately.
Especially with the London mulligan rule, I feel like the mulligans you can mulligan a lot more. But I pretty much just am always trying to talk myself into a keep because, you know what? 7 cards is better than 6.
And really, who wants to shuffle their deck again?
Exactly.
Actually,
Okay, well, I'm pretty happy I mulliganed. I'll keep this beaut.
A beautiful hand. You got to put one of them back, though.
Yeah, that does suck. I guess we want to put this one back. Feels bad, but we kind of need all these other cards, so.
And is
Sigh.
very close, so I think I keep this on 6.
Okay.
I just get a good draw. I'm in good shape. I will go to 19, play Arboreal Grazer.
We be
and
grazing.
put Island onto the battlefield.
God, keeping a grazer when you mulligan. Wow.
Well, I put one on the bottom.
Okay, okay. That makes a lot more sense. I'm going to take 2 and pass it to you.
Brings you to 18.
Yep.
I will play a Thespian Stage and pass the turn.
Thespian Stage, huh? I think I'm just going to untap here. We're going to go with a Charter Course.
Yep.
1, 2, discard the Phoenix. Your turn.
Copy your Steam Vents.
Okay.
Okay. Temple of Mystery.
Okay.
That is a card we want.
Okay.
So we will leave that one there, and I will cast Underworld Breach. Oh no, this sacrifices an end step. I forgot. I knew there was like some clause and maybe not want to cast it immediately.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I will. I don't have Underworld Breach in my hand at all.
I believe you. I totally believe you. Okay, we're going to start with an opt. Don't want to land. I already have one in hand. You don't need a ton with this deck. Let's take a pain. Opt again. Don't want a shock. That's pretty low impact. It's just literally 2 damage to the face. I can't organize my cards today. All right, draw off this. Not bad there. We'll take 2, shock ya, and bring in the
You go to
Phoenix.
16 from the. Oh, and you took one from the Reese. You're at 15.
Yep, 15.
And
you're at 18.
I don't want to let you just use a Lightning Axe on this at some point, so I'll just block immediately.
Okay, and then I'll pass to you.
You have me at 19, right?
I got you at 18.
I just took one from Coast.
I just shocked you then, so I got you
you
at
shocked, so
17. Yep.
So 17 to 15.
All right, your turn.
Okay. Well, I have the Sylvan Scrying,
Okay.
so that's good. And I guess we will just scry, get a Lotus Field.
Okay.
So we'll play that, and there's no way I can make the Thespian Stage this turn, so we'll just sacrifice these 2 lands
Makes sense.
and pass the turn.
All right, I'm terrified. Okay, we're not going to be able to bring another Phoenix back this turn, so we're definitely just going to get on in there.
14.
All right, and I don't think there's a single way I can present lethal next turn either. We don't have a ton of ways to interact, so I think it's more than likely just going to have to be a play stuff and pray kind of turn. 6, 7, 8. All right, let me do some quick math here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's not going to be enough to present lethal next turn, even with a good draw. So I think we just want to establish some cards. Strategic planning.
Yep.
Okay. Now we'll get a land and play said land. And we could Treasure Cruise getting rid of like everything here. Doesn't feel great. Let's just get a Young Pyro. And we pray. Go ahead.
That was the card.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Am I dead?
We might be. Let's copy the Lotus Field.
Okay.
That's Hidden Stirrings, untapping these 2, floating a blue.
Yep.
Let's make 3 blue and 3 red.
Okay.
Let's float blue red and cast Pour.
Okay. Floating blue and red now?
Yep.
Okay.
And I think that will do it.
Dang it.
So discard this, untap here.
Yep.
I have a blue and a red in pool. We'll Chronic Flooding the Lotus Field.
Okay.
And then I will show you the Underworld Breach with the Hidden Stirrings.
Let's see it for the audience.
Okay. So we have a red floating off this.
Okay.
This makes blue. We'll float 2 blue. We will escape this, exiling 3 cards, and we mill 3 from this.
Okay.
So This untaps. For some reason, this just doesn't go to the exile.
Yeah, escape. You just get to keep doing it, huh?
Keep doing it. So now I just get to mill 3, exile 3 with the Hidden Stirring, so I'm going to get to mill my entire deck.
Yep.
Once we get to the end, I have this 1 Thassa's Oracle, which we will not exile over the course of this. Cast this. I have no library. I have 3 Devotion to Blue. I was worried about this kill, actually, because if they kill it in response, you don't have enough, but the Chronic Flood gives you the Devotion.
Yeah.
So even if they kill this with the trigger on the stack, the flooding will get you there.
Kill that, Brazen Borrower bounce.
Yeah, do that. Then you got me.
Okay, that was nice. Nice clean kill. It was turn 4, wasn't it? Maybe turn 5.
I think it was turn 5.
Yeah, I didn't have an aggressive enough start, but I honestly don't have... This deck isn't all about, going super, super fast,
I thought you were going to get another turn because I just didn't have the untap effect.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to take 1 turn to copy and then untap with the pour and see what I could do.
Yeah.
And I just drew Hidden Stirrings.
This might be one match where we should go to sideboard. I have about 9 dead cards that do nothing here.
We'll take a short break here. We will get sideboarding set up so Corey can have a little bit of disruption.
I need to win the next 2 games for the marbles. They're on the line.
And we will finish out this last match between Breachfield and Izzet Phoenix. Don't go anywhere.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to sideboarding here on Versus Live with Izzet Phoenix up against that. Whatever you call that shenanigans. Breachfield. So from my end, I have 4 cards that were completely unplayable, and my only target you're siding out, and it's a heinous target, as well as a couple shocks. Taking out 1 Treasure Cruise. You mentioned before that makes a lot of sense. I added Ox of Agonis into this, but did not adjust the Treasure Cruise number. I'm really strenuating my graveyard now, but I think that's okay because I really want these effects to take hold. And then I'm just bringing in counter spells. I'm turning into a much more reactive deck, trying to contain your counter. My ideal draw is to just get a Young Pyromancer on 2 and then just counter everything and hope that's good enough. And yeah, I think it will be. What do you think?
And I like this matchup enough, even though Corey's bringing in some counter spells, that I'm going to stick with the combo plan for now. I've got some Disfeats of my own to fight his counter spells, and then a couple Angers, which are really good against all of his threats. Sweeps of all the Pyromancers, all the Arclights, all the Oxes. Yeah. I do only cast this off of Lotus Field, but if I don't have Lotus Field, my deck's not doing anything.
It's just a really bad green-blue control deck.
With a bunch of counter spells, I'm not nearly as worried about speed, so I'm going to be cutting the Grazers. And then also the 1 Cyclonic Rift. There's just no permanent base disruption out of Corey's deck, so it's not an effect I need.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, Anger of the Gods is a terrifying card. Anger of the Gods, honestly, maybe I'm just a little biased from the last 2 weekends with the modern SCGs, but I don't know about you. I know you played the Team Urza deck at least once. Anger of the Gods was just unreal. Any matchup where you'd bring it in and you drew it, it was beautiful.
Yeah, I did not anger very often, but when it was good.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. All right, Dan, you got a question queued up for us?
So a couple of people have been trying to flag me down, saying that Ross wins even if they kill Thassa's Oracle in response.
It does say or equal. I missed that clause in the text.
Or equal? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Sweet.
It says if X is greater than or equal to the number of cards in your library.
Sure.
Disallow? Mill yourself?
Disallow would be a tilt.
Yeah. Guess I could have just disallowed much earlier and won the game, but all right, excellent. You got a question at all, Dan? Are we still, or do we got our next person first in queue?
No, we got one from Hysteus.
All right.
Do you guys think that Dredgeless Dredge is the kind of deck that can be hated out of a tournament if everyone brings hate, or is it robust enough to be tier 1 despite all the hate for it?
You want to take this one, or you want me to take it?
The deck can definitely succeed through hate.
Yeah.
And I don't think Pioneer's at a place where people can really play a ton of graveyard hate in their sideboards.
Mm-hmm.
So until that happens, until the Sultai Dredge deck really takes over, if that's an if, we're not going to see 4 recipes, 4 ley lines in people's sideboards very often, and so it really doesn't matter if the deck can't beat 6 pieces of graveyard hate. Until we get to the point where people do it.
Exactly. But, if the deck becomes as good as, frankly, I kind of think it is. Let's look at this on a scale, okay? From Hogak to Modern Dredge, where it is now. Hogak is a deck that at its one Pro Tour it got to play, Barcelona, people, including myself, main deck ley lines. I mean, the deck was that good that people had to be doing that to just win game one no matter what. And that's a deck that can survive through hate. You had Force of Vigor, you had Assassin's Strike. Your whole sideboard was anti-hate cards. And because the deck is so powerful, it can go through hate. Now, Dredge is a different story. Whenever you would beat the hate, you'd have to take turns to set up. You'd have to get your engine going again. Hogak, you'd kill something, stitch your supplier, and play an 8/8. That's enough of getting back to be able to beat hate and keep going. It puts Dredge so far behind that I don't think Dredge can survive that much hate, and that's why we see Dredge ebb and flowing with being very good when people aren't prepared, and then really bad when people are. I think Sultai Dredge is leaning more towards the Dredge side than the Hogak side, is the point I was trying to make.
No, the reload time for the hate is certainly much larger than it was for Hogak. Hogak
exactly
among graveyard decks is probably the best one ever in terms of that reload time.
No kidding. I don't know. Have you ever played extended Dredge with Icarids and breakthroughs and stuff?
All the way back then. I did not play that deck then.
Yeah.
That was when people finally started learning how broken Dredge was.
Yeah,
it was the very first Dredge deck, really, outside of Vintage.
Exactly, yep. No, but great question, because, I mean, you got to ask yourself those questions. Is this deck that good, or is it just good because people are not prepared? And right now, I think it's the unprepared thing, and we'll see if that changes. I don't even know if the deck's for sure great, All right, so I'm going to be going first here. Let's see what we can do. We have a card that I really wanted in this matchup. This is all reasonable. We could just get destroyed here, but I'm gonna keep.
My hand's solid. I'll keep.
Here we go.
I will play Temple of Mystery.
Okay.
Scry, and I do not want this card. Go to the bottom.
All right. Now we want to get this going so that I have value everywhere else I play.
I will cast Strategic Planning.
Okay. Strategically do some planning.
I will put Chronic Flooding and Planning into the yard and pass the turn.
Okay. All right, now this is going to be an interesting turn because I have to, at some point, still progress a little bit more, but it's a fine line of how much I can progress. And I think this is probably a hold back turn. So I'm going to...
At 18.
And I'll pass to you.
I will check you for a counterspell.
I will oblige. I will counter unless you pay 2. Get a Ross Merriam to use him against him.
I'll play a Lotus Field and sack these lands.
All right, I was baited.
Right.
All right, so we're going to untap. I am going to... I think I have one specific card in mind that I want to draw here. So I have the choice between a couple different draw spells. And I actually don't know which one I truly want. I think we're just going to start with a Charter Course. Get a token. Draw 1. Draw 2. Oh, that wasn't great. Did not hit the land we wanted, so we'll just give you the beatdowns.
Brings me to...
15, right?
15, yep.
I'll pass to you. Maybe we misplayed by not playing our other... 2-drop weight, 2-draw cards. If we look at my hand, Dan, I mean this. We'll see by the top card, because this card does let me see one additional card. But with having Arclight in my hand, I knew I had a discard, so I knew I had to draw 2 there.
Ooh. This is an interesting turn.
Okay. Thespian Sage is scary.
I think I'm just going to anger now. I don't think Corey's really incentivized to tap low to return that Phoenix when he has Pyromancer going. It's exiled.
Oh, yeah.
And he doesn't have a counterspell up this turn. Now he's probably going to have to tap out to return this Phoenix, even if he can, because he doesn't have a 4th land. Yeah,
seems pretty good to me. I am going to cast Strategic Planning.
Yep.
I still need a land here. Well, that was...
Land second Phoenix is...
That was interesting. Oh, we can't do anything crazy with it yet. I cannot bring him back, so I don't think I even want to try. I'll pass to you.
Okay, well, couldn't bring him back. That's nice.
Yep.
I'll tap for blue and play Planning, floating a blue.
Okay.
will put Dig Through Time and Double Cast into the graveyard.
Okay.
And then I will use the blue floating to copy Lotus Field.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
All right. Untap. All righty. Well, let's try to do some things, I suppose. You have so many magic cards. You have so much mana. I think I just have to be doing my thing here. I hope it's good enough. We're gonna start with an opt.
Yep.
I don't want that. We already have enough of Charter Course effects. Oh, this could be bad. How many cards you got?
I have 5.
5. All right, strategic planning.
Yep.
I'm going to take this. Strategically plan one more time.
Yep.
Do I want to land here? Probably not. We did hit the 4th Phoenix, though.
So I'm going to go to 3.
Yep, your turn. Now I'm
Okay.
probably dead.
Let's see what I can do here. The problem is I have yet to find any way to untap, but I'm going to dig quite a bit. So I'm going to have
Okay.
blue floating, cast Pour.
Okay. That literally untaps.
Yeah. Those were reasonable. So I have blue and pool.
Yep.
Go to 7 blue, 2 blue and pool.
Okay. Miss. Feels bad to lose with this hand, don't you think, Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's Chronic Flooding on a Lotus Field with the blue.
Okay.
Then
That's what I hope happens to you, just chronic flooding.
tap
All
for
land.
tap for 3 blue, mill 3.
Okay.
I mean, at the very worst, I'm going to end with angering these Arclights away, which is
That's
nice.
pretty good.
I will cycle this floating a blue.
Okay.
Untap, draw. Go to 4 blue, mill 3.
Okay. I need a coloring book or something. You got to pull a Caleb Shear and give your opponent something to color or something to do while they combo off.
Go to 2 blue,
Okay.
untap, cycle, and that'll do it.
Game.
Red, blue, mill 3. There's the Oracle. So 5 blue, 3 red.
Okay. Got the enchantment.
Hidden Stirrings, floating 3 blue, 3 red, untap. And there's the breach.
All right.
2 blue.
Feels pretty bad to lose with that in my hand, but I drew most of those up, or at least one of them. I think I could have just said go and held up like this, but then what am I doing, you know?
I had 1 counter spell, and
Yeah.
you would have stroked, I dispute, you dispute.
Yeah.
But then you would have had to tap out and do this, and I would have just gone off the next turn.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing is, like, the anger is really good, and if I had Young Pyromancer out, I could play this kind of
Yeah.
control sit-back plan, but without it, I'm just forced to go all in, and when I have to go all in, you just have so many great things, either a combo or anger. So this seems like a bit of a tricky one, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I only have the 2 angers, so...
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
But I think my draws there at both games, like a turn 5 kills, like, yeah, it's a reasonable draw, like,
Yeah.
pretty good. And then the second game, like, I had, I think, a turn 5 kill with a piece of disruption and a counterspell.
Yep.
So that one I think is a very good draw there. But
Looked pretty sweet, though.
part of it is, like, the kill is so clean that I think you can afford to dilute your deck a little bit more, and it's still easier to produce that kill.
Yeah.
Rather than...
I mean, just cards you got to keep, like turn the page or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's just amazing. But
killing with
yeah.
Bay of Wishes or with double cast on spells, like, requires
Yeah.
that you have a lot of resources.
Yeah,
at least
or
more than this.
Raw,
Yeah.
Omniscience. You know, I mean, there's so many different ways. But
And here, like, it's not like you even need them both in your hand. If you just have the Underworld Breach, the Stirrings can be in your graveyard. So you can use that to generate the mana early,
Yeah.
dig through your deck, and then just find it's really Breach and Chronic Flooding.
yeah,
And even the
yeah.
Breach even gives Chronic Flooding a save. It's all non-land cards. It's
Oh,
not just
really?
instants and sorceries.
So you can bring back Chronic
Yeah.
Flooding by just exiling 2 other cards, paying 2 mana, strapping it to a land, going off, and then hitting it, Hidden Stirrings.
Breach is messed up.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean, nobody looked at that card and they're like, "That's not doing anything." Like everyone looked and they're like, every brewer was like, "Okay, let's go, let's go." Yeah. No, that looked awesome.
It does make the deck vulnerable to graveyard hate.
Yeah.
So that's a problem, and there is graveyard hate around.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see if it's worth, being a cleaner kill versus being vulnerable to that hate.
Yeah, and that was the nice thing about the combo is, almost all combos Storm with the 4 mana return everything from the graveyard. What's that card called again?
Past in Flames?
Past in Flames. But like that with Past in Flames, other really centric around graveyard combos. It happens a lot that the graveyard is involved. So that combo was really interesting when you didn't have to do that. But yeah, I think it'll still be good because we don't see a ton of graveyard hate yet. But Dredgeless Dredge might be putting it in a bad spot,
I don't like, this deck can shift away from that with shifting Ceratops.
Nice.
I've got
nice segue.
To help. So like you can just win with these cards post board if they bring in graveyard hate.
Wait, Thing in the Ice? You know where that belongs? In the garbage.
It's in the sideboard.
Okay.
Good sideboard card.
Good sideboard card?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like you're going to be taking these away from me regardless, but well earned. After being down 0-5 in games, I was happy to just have a chance to fight for them, so I'm pretty content with that. I'm going to play here. We got some time. We're going to play another game, but first let's take a question from you.
Absolutely. From the Mike hypothesis. So Corey,
Yep.
Does the presence of Anger of the Gods make Thing in the Ice a more desirable sideboard option, or no?
No. I already Anger the Gods all my permanents by just playing that card, so I just don't think Thing in the Ice is good without Manamorphose, without Gutshot, without Faithless Looting. That really gave you the critical mass to be able to do it the next turn. When you can't do it on turn 3, at all, I don't think it's worth it, nor is there a lot of games where you're spraying to the battlefield like Humans were in Modern when that card was really good.
Too.
Exactly, and Spirits, yeah. So there was a lot of...
bounce a spell queller with Thing in the Ice?
Yeah. Oh my. But there's nothing in Pioneer that is really needing to bounce everything. It's okay, you bounced everything, they still have a Nissa, you're gonna die. Or mono red, sure, bouncing their couple of threats. If you don't answer mono red's threats on a 1-for-1 basis, you're gonna die anyways. And this deck is all about answering stuff on a 1-for-1 basis. So you never get that huge value that Thing in the Ice had in Modern. I just don't think it's a Pioneer level card. Yeah. And it just looks like it is because it was so good and so dominant in Modern.
Yeah, the contexts are very different. When Pioneer was first announced, I built an Izzet Phoenix deck. And if you remember, I didn't put Thing in the Ice in it. I didn't think it was going to be good enough. It got a little bit
we had
better.
Brawls or whatever, right?
Yeah. They and Jaces, which was good. But once people started adding some more 1-mana plays to the deck, it got a little bit better. But it still has that problem where you take at least 2 turns, sometimes 3 to transform it.
Yeah.
Whereas in Modern it was 1 to 2, so it's a turn slower. That's the problem. The other really value part of it, the important part of it in Modern, was that it survived Lightning Bolt, which is not a card that exists here. We still have Wild Slash and Lightning Strike that thing survives.
But not played as much as Lightning Bolt was, yeah.
That Pyromancer does die to, though sometimes you can get value out of Pyromancer anyway. The thing was, having your threat in the Phoenix deck in Modern die was a lot bigger of a deal because you didn't have any real ways to gain card advantage. It was all 1-mana cantrips and Faithless Looting. This deck plays Treasure Cruise and now Ox of Agonis. So if they're trading 1-for-1 with you, you're really happy.
Perfect.
So you actually don't care that much if they're using removal spells on your threats because you're going to keep coming and you have a much stronger late game because of those cards.
Yeah.
So I like Pyromancer as well, even if it's a little bit more fragile.
You're not biased or anything, are you?
No.
Not biased that you're the elemental, right? By the way, what a gas token to be. That is pretty sweet. All right, so I'm going to be going first, and wow, I think I needed to shuffle a little bit more. I'm going to take a mulligan. My hand was heinous.
You were very good at getting lots of Phoenixes.
I know. Yeah, thank you. It wasn't enough this time. It wasn't enough.
So.
Are you good? Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Appleby N asks, what do you guys think about a modern Scapeshift deck with Valakut and the new Dryad, the one that has basically the Prismatic Omen text on it?
I think that's reasonable. I think there's a chance.
Yeah, I think this is better than Omen. Even though it dies to creature removal, the removal's not very good against you. They're not going to leave in a lot. Being a 2/4 is valuable. Sometimes it accelerates you, and that's also valuable. I don't think that's the best home for Dryad. I think
Yeah.
Dryad wants to be in like a turbo land kind of shell with lots of utility lands that you can maybe find, because things like Mystic Sanctuary, they just work when you have Dryad. Like any two,
That's true. Yeah.
So with things like that, and you need a lot of card advantage to keep the cards flowing, so you have more lands to play. And you're gonna, that's the kind of deck that ends with this like absurd number of permanents on the battlefield, and it plays longer games as opposed to just trying to get them dead.
Yeah, the problem with, trying to play Dryad and like Grazer and stuff like that is when you expect to just play it and be like, okay, hit your land drop every time, like it's so many resources. It's like your whole hand has to be perfect to be sculpted for like a turn 1 Grazer, 2 lands, Druid, 2 more lands, and then the Scape Shift, like it has to basically be 9 cards or something like that. You need card advantage with that. Yeah.
You need card draw to keep those lands flowing. Exactly, and like Scape Shift is notable for not really doing that.
Yeah, it's notable for not caring, just playing a 4-drop that can't get mana leaked on turn 6 or whatever, and then winning, but just barely. Like Scape Shift never wins, and be like, well, I still have these 6 cards.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's fine in there, but that is not optimizing the Dryad, which has a lot of potential.
Yeah, it does have
potential. It's a very specific shell.
Agreed. All right, so I'm down to 6 now. We'll see what we're doing here. All right, this hand is pretty reasonable. We're actually going to put this Arclight on the bottom. We have no real way to manipulate it. That's not really the game we want to play here. So then we're going to go...
You might want to get some Fable Passages in that deck with Treasure Cruise and Ox.
That could be reasonable, actually, yeah. Yeah, hitting your drops on time is so important, but maybe it's worth it.
Yeah.
I'll pass to you.
Not 4, but,
Yeah.
Small number. I've got a Sanctum, and I'll pass.
So I have an option here. I'm going to give away what I have. I mean, I have an option to opt, but I truly don't know what I want right now, so I'm not going to do it. Plus, I'm going to play Young Pyromancer and gain some value that way. So, pass to you.
Okay. I will play a Strategic Planning.
Sounds strategic of you.
I will put these 2 cards in the graveyard.
All right.
This is the one I was looking for.
Well, la-di-da. All right, so we're going to give you the beatdowns.
I'm at 18.
And we're going to go with a strategic planning of our own, but ours comes with a Rosmarium. All right, now I got some lands. Let's see. I think we're pretty content getting another Young Pyromancer. Oh, yeah, touche. Pass to you. It was just out of kindness, We're playing for funsies here.
I will make colorless blue, play Lotus Field,
Okay.
and I will attempt a Chronic Flooding on it.
Yeah, we better not let that happen.
Okay. You got another token?
Yep.
Then I'll pass the turn.
All right. Now, I got to be worried about anger, so it's probably not worth it to commit another thing to it, so we're just going to attack for 4.
I am at 14.
14. And I guess I can do this now. I'm going to opt. Maybe I don't want to with anger. Yeah, I take that back. I don't have an opt. Well, I told you on turn 1 I already did, so.
Okay, I'm just going to spend another turn setting up, make sure my mana is good. I'll pass.
End step. Opt.
Yep.
To the surprise of no one. Okay. So the question I'm considering is, do I want this to try to help my clock? If it ups the clock by a turn, maybe it's worth it, but 4, 5, 6. It actually does, but feels kind of bad. It's just a generally bad Magic card in this matchup. Great Magic card, but 5, you're at 14, right?
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah, we're gonna bottom it. We got other stuff. Okay, we're gonna opt again. Yep. Thank you. I think we'll keep that one. All right, we're going to untap. Yeah, Thing in the Ice would have 3 counters now. So now when I played a sorcery thing, I'd be able to attack. But this has already dealt more damage. So we're going to come on in there for 6.
I'm at 8.
All right, and now do we want to play a Young Pyromancer and into an anger world? Nah, probably not. We'll just say go.
Okay, end step, copy.
Yep.
You have how many cards in hand?
I have 4.
Okay, I think this is our turn.
Uh-oh.
That we have to go off because you have 6 damage here. If you play 2 spells on end step or have any sort of burn spell or just are able to return a Phoenix next turn, any of those things kills me.
Yeah, it's a lot of variables.
Because I know you have another Pyromancer and you were unwilling to cast it last turn to increase the clock, you either have it or you have a bunch of counter spells, which is probably bad for me, but
We're going to find out.
regardless, I will make, let's go 3 blue, 3 red,
Okay.
and we will float 2 blue, 2 red, and try to untap them.
Yeah, that's okay.
Then I will
So much mana already.
go up to 8 blue,
Okay.
go down to 3 blue, 2 red, and cast Pour over the pages.
I want to have something to say. I get a token.
And so I still have 6 mana. That's fine.
Okay.
Leave 3 blue floating and cast Underworld Breach.
All right.
Play. Let's exile these 3 and cast Hidden Stirrings with Escape. 1 blue floating. Untap these.
Yep. It's pretty spicy.
Then use that. Play Chronic Flooding on Lotus Field. Exile these 3.
Okay.
Make 3 blue, mill 3.
Yep.
Hidden Stirrings to... Ooh, we might have left ourselves in an awkward spot.
Let's hope so. It's crazy you can play counter spells back from the yard as well. That's
Yeah.
pretty spicy.
So, yeah, because we're sort of 1 card short.
Yep.
So, let's make...
So you have 1 blue floating, right?
And
Now you're going up to 7 total mana.
then this cast I had the Underworld Breach, this cast the Chronic Flooding, right?
Oh, okay.
And then
So,
this cast the...
so you have
the
none
Hidden Stirrings.
floating, but you have 6 available.
Yeah, 6
Okay.
available. We will play this floating 4 blue.
Okay.
Untap.
Okay.
Go to 7 blue, mill 3.
Okay. So you can basically get infinite mana here.
Go to 10 blue.
Okay.
Go to 8 blue, exile.
Okay.
Good.
Yep.
Go to 14,
Okay.
mill 3.
This is silly.
So every single time I get to mill 3 and add 4 mana.
Yep.
So add 4 mana, mill 3.
Yep. You have established a loop.
Add 4 mana, mill 3.
Yep.
Add 4 mana, mill 3. Now my mana doesn't matter. We'll just stop.
Yep.
Do that. And if the Oracle is at the bottom, then I'm fine. Otherwise, I'm going to lose to a negate. And only negate, which you probably have. And I tried to play around.
I have a counter spell, so.
If it's a mystical dispute, it doesn't matter.
Oh, it's better. Oh, come on, one time.
We were close. So now there's. So I've milled 3 at this point, and these are tapped.
Okay, and you have infinite blue, basically.
And I have 6 cards. Man, if I had hit it 1 more cycle down, even bottom 6 would have been fine.
Okay,
I would have left
okay.
myself exactly 3. And that would have done it. Although I guess it would have lost a removal spell. So now I have to... But actually, it's fine, though. Because now I just... So I will cast Hidden Stirrings.
You'd have to exile those 3 cards.
Now, I will... Jesus. Yeah, I just screwed myself, didn't I?
Hooray! I think you always needed one more card in your graveyard, it felt like.
Yeah, I always needed one more
Yeah.
to leave the Oracle. I didn't think about that. So now, how do I do anything?
Give this a read as well as everybody else here. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is your devotion to blue, which would be 3. Put one of them on top and the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. If X is greater or equal to the number of your library, you win. So yeah, I think you...
Yeah.
because you can breach back the Oracle as well, right?
Yeah. But then I don't have the hidden stirrings, and I don't have a way to make my library small.
Yeah.
Or make my to mill myself. Yeah, I guess I thought I had the chance to be able to mill it in the bottom 3.
Yeah.
But I needed to just, once I had enough mana, Mystical Dispute the stirrings and pay for it to give myself the extra card.
Yeah.
But I thought I got a chance to look at it first, but I didn't.
Yeah, so you could have did that at any point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but if you negate.
I had the hard counter spell.
Yeah. So if I had realized exactly how the end game scenario was going to go up, I would have won because I would've just disputed my own stirrings.
Make sure the record will show the one game win, though, right, Dan?
Sure.
Yeah, no, that's a really cool deck, though. I'm kind of a fan. I was very skeptical going into this, but it didn't seem like it was insanely hard to set up. And it seemed pretty resilient, you know. I mean, it wasn't susceptible to any kind of removal, you know. I mean, enchantment removal, sure, but we don't see a lot of that, you know. So it's interesting. It's a very interesting brew you got there. And once again, I have to keep my record clean of never being able to beat that Lotus Field deck. It just never happens. So regardless, I'm going to award this to you, and that is going to be getting close to it. We got a little bit of time for a couple questions if you got them down, though.
Yeah, let's do that.
So, Ross, Venex Storm asks, couldn't you have cast Dig Through Time at some point to try and add more cards that way?
Do you have it in your hand?
Cat.
Like,
No. So I didn't have a dig in my hand, and that also doesn't add cards to the graveyard.
It would add one. It would add one.
No, the cards go on the bottom.
It would add dig,
it would add Dig.
specifically.
But if I cast it in the graveyard, I need to exile 3 to cast it.
Well, you had all that blue. So
Well, I don't think that's what
But
Three the
but
Breach.
to escape it, I need to exile.
It's not
3
just your cards get flashback. It's you have
Yeah.
to escape.
They
Okay.
escape.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the cards have escape.
So you'd actually
Every
have
card
to
I cast
escape
costs
8.
3 cards.
You'd have to escape 8 for.
No, it's always 3 cards.
It's always
and the mana
3.
cost.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So I
Yeah.
need to get a card from my hand in the graveyard. My hand was 2 lands in a dispute.
Sure.
And I knew I could dispute the stirrings at some point, and I could loop until I had enough mana to pay and not worry about his stuff.
Yeah.
So if I hit Oracle early on, then I lose. So there's actually a risk there.
Yep.
But
So you had to do
But
it first.
In my head, for some reason, I thought I could wait till I mill the Oracle, then do the dispute to get the extra card. But that's not actually true because I have to either get rid of the stirrings of the Oracle to cast the other
Yeah.
one, and I need both.
So what you should have done is you should have Mystical Disputed when you were already out of range from both
Yeah.
Dispute and Izzet Charm. So you were gambling with like the top 9 cards of your library or
Yes,
whatever.
exactly.
But then after that you Dispute, and then it's just the wins there because your last card will be, you know, the Oracle, and then you just get down where the numbers are right, and then you win.
Yeah,
But,
because you always have the 1 card remaining, so I just leave
Yeah.
the Oracle at the end.
Yeah.
And then exile the hidden stirrings to cast the Oracle.
Yeah.
Hidden strings.
Pretty spicy. Let's get another question from you, Dan.
That deck is just way too galaxy brain for me.
That's a KCI in the making right there. Maybe not quite as resilient as that.
It's not even as complicated. It's always
yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
I just needed 1 extra card in my graveyard at the end to
No,
get
I
the
think
end
it's just
going.
like in a lot of, there's a lot of planning
Yeah,
there.
it's also
No, there's a
weird-
lot of strategic planning. Yeah.
It's also
yeah.
just weird. The problem is it's a bunch of weird cards that nobody knows. Like
Yeah.
Hidden Strings has never seen constructed play before this.
Yeah.
Chronic Flooding was in different decks when it was in Standard
I had to read it today.
that we're trying to middle. But like, and then Lotus Field has a bunch of text on it. Every card has too much text now.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
just never know exactly what things can do.
So
Like
speaking
Sunrail.
of cards with too much text on it, so let's go with a question from Aston Forge. Do you think there's a way to make Thassa's Oracle work in Standard at the moment, like a self-mill sort of deck?
Are you trying to trigger the win the game clause on it?
Yes.
I don't like that's just too hard. Like
I mean,
you need an engine to do that. Like
There's
this
one deck that already is kind of an engine to do that, and that's the Drowned Secret, kind of Creeping Chill, Dredge kind of deck. I could see it, but, you know, maybe you go blue-red and you Drowned and Secret through the breach shenanigans, but that's probably a stretch.
Yeah.
I know that that young man from my channel, Astroforge, and let me tell you, always suggesting just off-the-wall deck, so that seems about right.
Well, if you have Drowned Secrets and Lotus Field and some way to untap Lotus Field, is there a twiddle effect in Standard? Then that could function very similarly with Underworld Breach.
Yeah. I don't think there is a twiddle effect.
You need to get up to 2 Drowned Secrets before you start going off, but you can cast when you
but
find it in the
maybe you
graveyard.
don't even have to do the untap thing. You can just value opt puts 2 cards in your graveyard. This puts 2 cards, and then try to have 1 or 2, 3 the whatever. But
the goal is always to be casting the card that fuels your graveyard from the graveyard.
yeah.
And so it needs to be something that generates you more mana. That's the problem, because that's what the twiddle effect does, is it generates you the mana to keep going.
Yeah.
So, but there's usually some twiddle effect somewhere.
But Standard is really fast and linear and aggressive right now, so it would have to be something that can also protect or be really fast, and I don't think it can be either right now, but you never know.
The only twiddle effect that I can find is Kiora from War of the Spark.
Yeah, that one doesn't work.
Yeah, it's only a one-time effect, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not quite there, but maybe once we get more sets,
There we
keep
go.
an eye out for that one.
Keep an eye on it. I like it. You got time for one more down if you got another one queued up.
Sure. Curson asks, what do you guys think about Gruul Eldrazi in Modern now after the bannings?
Well, I did lose to that in Knoxville. Almost did lose to and get knocked out of top 8 with that. I think the deck is still pretty fine. Like Eldrazi Obligator, whenever that card's good, I think the deck is okay. You know, like overall, I think Eldrazi is just not very good in Modern. Personally, but whenever that card is really good, Obligator, then I think the deck is fine because you also get to play Grove, which is pretty good against Death Shadow, and
We did see a little bit of Selesnya Eldrazi right after the looting ban.
Yeah.
Before, Oko was printed.
Arctic Nebo was kind of one of the pioneers of that, right?
And Ryan Overturf.
Yeah.
And that deck was it was pretty cool. I played a little bit with it too, actually, before that open in Dallas.
Yeah.
It did play Karn as another threat, and you probably don't want Karn in that deck without Lattice.
Probably not.
But I wasn't even sure Karn was good in that deck. So
Yeah.
The key there is when you play white, you get Displacer. So it's like, which one is better, Displacer or Obligator? And then you go for that color.
Exactly.
But those decks might be good, or at least they're fine.
Yeah, Modern's going to have a shakeup. I mean, the best deck definitely got the legs cut from under it. So that deck's still going to be around, but I would not be shocked if it's like, barely tier 1. It's still going to be there, I think, but it's not going to be as good. So Modern's wide open. If you got something that you really love to play, try it out. Try it again. I think it's great. So that's going to be about it for Versus Live. Let's thank some subs, and we'll talk about what's going on this weekend.
Absolutely. We got quite a few.
All right.
So we got Papa John's Napkins with a 21-month resub.
Of
Corrupted
course.
Mind, new subscriber. Frozine, 16-month resub. Ellie the Duck, a 16-month resub. Exarca, 6
Whenever we get over 5, I love it.
Moldy Taters, 8 months with a Twitch Prime sub. Stonks with
Taters.
Twitch Prime. And finally, MOC Barashin, 10-month resub.
All right.
Pioneer, love.
8 subs. Since my career on Versus Live here, we've never gotten to 10 in one day. So if we get to 10, I mean, we got to
We'll celebrate.
We'll do some celebrating. Let's try to get that to 10 one of these days. I want to thank everybody so much for the subs and for watching. We appreciate you. So far, Theros Beyond Death has had a really fun impact on Standard and Pioneer. We've gotten to explore both of those, and now it's your turn to explore Theros Beyond Death at the pre-releases this weekend. Head out to your local game store, play some on Arena. You might even see me roaming the streets around Roanoke, Virginia, if you're going to play a little a release event Magic in the beautiful city of Roanoke. But get out there and play, have some fun. It looks like a really fun limited set. I know I'll be doing that. For Ross, Corey, we're out of here. See ya.